Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today the 17th of March is St. Patrick's Day this year. And I'm even wearing the right t-shirt, Dublin, because today I would like to talk to you about Teeling whiskey. And not just one of them, but four of them. Four Teeling releases, the Teeling Brabazon releases. Now I know what you're thinking. Mark, these are three years old, 2 years old, a year ago. These are old releases, but nevertheless, I still wanted to talk to you about them because one, I love them. Two, you can actually still find them. And if you have not yet tried them, you should. You should. Now, when they first announced the Brabazon series way back when, I remember that I was in Ghent at a Teeling tasting, and then the first Brabazon was in an absolute avant-premiere being presented, and I was tasting all these Teelings and putting it on Facebook, and all of a sudden it was the Brabazon, and I put it on Facebook, and suddenly the guy in front, the ambassador, he gets a call, and as he's about to swipe away the call because he's in the middle of a tasting, he sees it's from his manager, it's from the Teeling HQ, and he's like, "Will you excuse me for just a minute? Hello? Really? Oh no. Okay, yeah. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Did any one of you put a picture of the Brabazon on Facebook?" And I was like, that would be me. And he was like, "Could you please take it down? Because this is not yet released. It will be released next week. So please take down the picture." And I did. I'm a nice guy, so I took it down. But I'll never forget that moment. But since then, there's been three other Brabazon releases, and at first I was like, is this for Belgium? Because Brabazon sounds very familiar. It's like the Brabazon, which is the national anthem, but no. Brabazon is actually a 17th century politician that ruled the Liberties, and the Liberties is of course the area where the distillery is now to be found. So, and it also refers to the Brabazon House, which is a building behind the distillery in Dublin, where Teeling currently have their corporate offices. So there you have it. All right, now let's put these head to head. Let's try all four of these, and we'll start with the first one, the Brabazon first release, which is actually matured on sherry casks. And you will find that each and every one of these Brabazon releases is actually bottled at 49.5%, and that is a conscious choice by the master distiller and the master blender, Mr. Alex Chasko. So 49.5% on each and every one of these. The first Brabazon is on sherry casks. We'll give that one a go first. Beautiful, beautiful amber color. That's the sherry cask speaking. 49.5%. The Teeling Brabazon first release on the nose. Well, I get some burnt rubber at first, then some plums and raisins, some dates, chocolate in there, some herbal broth, in fact. It is a touch umami, but absolutely lovely. Right on the palate. Very nice arrival. A bit spicy, in fact. Oh, dark and sweet. I get banana, Seville oranges, slightly bitter. I get plums again. Some pineapple on the barbecue, but lots of spices. There's cinnamon and cloves in the background. And then halfway through, I get this hint of espresso and a bit of blackberry chewing gum. Beautiful on the finish. Medium long, soft, sweet, satisfying. I must say, I find this Teeling a tad eccentric. So I'm not sure if it's for everyone, but it is absolutely lovely. And like I said, this is bottled way back when, because this was bottled in 2018. So yeah, nevertheless, if you can get your hands on it, go for it. It's a stunner. Right, moving on to number two. Now number two is also bottled in 2018, but this one in September, while this one was February. September 2018, again at 49.5% ABV, but this one has been matured on port casks. There you have it. And that explains obviously the slightly darker color. Port casks, the Brabazon number 2 from Teeling at 49.5% on the nose. Oh, dark and sweet. Plums, raisins, some dried pineapple in this case. but also strawberries, and that's of course the port cask. I also get some, it's syrupy sweet. I get some grapefruit there, mandarin, chocolate chip cookies. Ah, this is absolutely delicious. On the palate. Did I say syrup sweet? Oh my God, this is syrup. It's very cloying in the mouth, but I like it. Very, very, very sweet and spicy. A bit like maple syrup, some candied sugar, but again, nutmeg on plums, red berries, figs and strawberry, but all of them in a stew, and there's lots of toffee there as well, and then a surprising salty edge appears, and it's slightly drying, but absolutely delicious. On the finish then. Well, the finish is very satisfying indeed. It is sweet versus salt, drying and very long. Now, the port casks, they do not dominate, but they have given this Teeling a very nice character, making it a veritable gem indeed. Wow. Moving on to number 3. And for number 3, you would think it would say number 3 on the label, but it does not. This is number 1, this is number 2, and this is all of a sudden a 14 years old, and it is matured on Pedro Jimenez. It does say Brabazon third release in smaller typo on the palate, but this is actually bourbon cask matured and then finished on Pedro Jimenez. Pedro Jimenez, as you know, the king of sherry. It's a kind of sherry where you put it in a glass and you put in a spoon and the spoon stays upright. That kind of sherry, very cloying, very sweet, very dark. And that explains the color on this one as well. It's almost coppery, in fact. It's as dark as the port one. Beautiful. And again, 49.5% ABV on the nose. Oh, lovely. Oh, it's so hard to choose between them because they're all so good. This is almost delicate, but it is wrapped in a very aromatic jacket of baked apples, some plum marmalade in there, roasted almonds, sultanas and a hint of candied sugar. Oh, it's a great nose. And I also get some herbs. Could that be sage? But it works beautifully. When was this bottle, does it say? I don't remember. I think this was 2019, but I'm not entirely sure. Could be 2020 as well. Delicious on the palate. It's quite a sturdy arrival, to be honest. It's got a very good body. It's again sweet on baked apples and pears, sultanas, a fresh fig in there, but then again a salty note, a very salty note in this case. And I also get some nutmeg and oregano. Oh, it's quite lovely indeed on the finish. That finish is medium long. It starts quite dark and sweet, to be honest, but then suddenly it quickly turns very, very dry. But a great malt indeed. And most likely due to the fact that it was finished on PX sherry casks that were in fact over 90 years old. Outstanding Teeling. So we've already had 3 fantastic Teeling, but the best is yet to come with number 4. Now obviously I realize when I announce it like that, it's a bit of a dead giveaway as to which is my favorite. But then again, if that's also, if your palate is a bit like mine and you like to think about these tasting notes as your purchasing guide, and I know that a couple of you do, well then you might also be in luck because the 4th one can still be found. So there you have it. Okay, now the 4th one is a bit special because it's 14 years old and it was finished on Carcavelos white port. It's not entirely correct because if it's from Carcavelos, then it's not really port because port should come from Porto. Anyway, you get the idea. It's like champagne and cava, you know. So it's Carcavelos, or is it Sarsavelos or Sarcavelos? I'm not entirely sure. I've never. You get the point. It's a fortified white wine, which would be port if it came from Porto, but it's not port because it comes from Carcavelos. There you have it. Anyway, but they call it their Teeling 13 years old Carcavelos white port. There you have it. Amber colored, Oh, hooray. Now this really makes my St. Patrick's Day. It's rich and aromatic. I get apricots, stewed pears and honey, lime, melon. But the DNA of Teeling is so overwhelmingly present, but with a sweet layer of white port. And in the meantime, I hear all these motorcycles in the background. But that's what you get when it's like the first beautiful day. All bikers jump on their machine and start driving around, and that's the noise you hear in the background. No matter, we'll still concentrate on this beautiful Teeling. Absolutely stunning nose on the palate. Oily, sweet, fruity, oranges, peach, apples, grapefruit, juicy honey as well, giving it a beautiful sweetness. But then again, also some pepper and ginger and some soft tannins to counterfoot all that sweetness and maintain a beautiful balance. It also got something perfumey, in fact a bit of cigar box maybe, and even a hint of soy sauce. But it's, like I said, it's got a beautiful balance, and it is absolutely delicious. Did I say this was my favorite? Do you mind if I say it again? This is my favorite. On the finish. And that finish is medium long on candied peach, nuts and some oak spices. Wow, outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And there you have it. So Alex Chasko and his team, they decided to end the Brabazon series on a high note, and they did, because it's actually 4 fantastic releases, well worth seeking out if you can still find them, although it's been a while since these were bottled. I do believe that this one was bottled in 2020, or maybe even 2000. I don't recall. I've had these for so long, but now that they're at their end, I was like, oh, I haven't yet talked about this. Well, St. Patrick's Day is the ideal moment. This is a fantastic range, and if you can find it, get it. You will not be disappointed. And that's all for this Whisky Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whisky Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.